Ah, ah, yeah, that's God talk. Greetings, loved ones. This is going to be a three-segment video coming from the heart of myself. I am Lord Ogden Ellis. That is the name that Lord Ogden has chosen. And Ellis just rides with him. Now, it was decided that my life would take the path that it has taken based upon my experiences here in this world and many worlds that I have lived in and on in past lives. I was just telling someone about my wife when she died, that she died so that I could live. Because had it not been for her death, my life would not have taken this road. So the greatest gift that she had to give, she gave it to me, and that was her life. But now it's a brand new day because now I'll be able to take her with me. I didn't really have a plan to share. I didn't know what I would share about, but I think we'll just call this video the Rainbow Coalition. Because what we do as spiritual beings is embrace all souls. I no longer look at an individual and see if they're black or white or whatever color. I don't see those colors. What I see is the soul. And with the soul and the beauty of it, it's an unconditional love that is beyond understanding. No matter what that soul has done in a physical body, it's not who that soul is. The soul is a divine being that it's hard for me to tell you about that because its beauty and its vibrations are so strong that the human senses cries when it's near them. And believe me, they're here tonight. So this is the view I will come from. Now, what I was going to speak about was the mini master, because now I would never call another master or one that was striving to be a master. I would never tell them that they were a mini master because I felt that I was on a level higher than they were. But that's what Harold Klemp told me, that I was a mini master because his ego was threatened. And because his ego was threatened, he couldn't have that. And he didn't want to see that. Instead of him being a true master and being happy that someone was striving to be or attain such a spiritual height while still living in a physical body, no. It was all about vanity. It was all about the things that the teachings of Eckankar are not about. It's not about one doing the things that would get them the most money or what have you. All of that is just a side effect of it. The highest level of attainment is the spiritual. And that is what I am today. And that's what I'm about. See, now I guess you could say that this video reflects the real Ellis. Because in being around that is here that you don't see, it's just a lot that the human self is not used to dealing with. You may think a person is one way, but when you see the real person, you see that they are not really the way you thought they were. That spiritual side makes the truth come out. It brings out in any and every individual whatever is within them. If they are liars, the lies coming off and coming out. Doesn't matter what the mouth say. Before I left my father's house the last time, he said, pay no attention. Pay no attention to what comes out of the mouth. Observe what the individual demonstrates. They will tell you the truth by what they demonstrate. That's where you will see the truth in them. So that's what I basically have been doing. And I've learned some hell of a thing. The teachings of, the religion of the light and sound, there's no way I could have saw what I have seen. I cried when I saw that great lie there that they talked about was the truth. I'm talking about it touched me deeply because I have many associates and friends that are still trapped in that religion that don't even realize that it's a trap perpetrated by the cow because they can only reach a certain height. Harold Klimp's going to see to it that they get no higher because that would threaten his position, even though he knows his time will come because that's how it works in this world. You know, you be here, you do what you do for a certain length of time, and then you give up that body and go on. But the vain, egotistical individual is going to try to hold on to it as long as they can and try to hold on to whatever they consider power to be as long as they can. Don't make no difference who they hurt or who they hold back. They just want what they want. And that's all there is to it. I am eternally grateful that the time came that I had the courage to do what I have done and what I am doing right here, right now. Had I not had the open-mindedness to let something new and different into my life, I would have never been able to take that next step. I didn't realize that I didn't have power. I thought that having this and having that, knowing this and knowing that was power. But I realized that now that another power existed. And this world here didn't teach one that. As a matter of fact, what a person really needed was for the very thing that this world didn't want them to have, and that was power. See, because if they had power, they wouldn't obey, and they wouldn't just do without thinking about it or without contesting it, because there were a majority of individuals that said, this is the way it is and this is the way it should be. So who you gonna trust? The one or a billion and one? They didn't have the courage or the power to believe in themselves. One person can change the whole world, can restructure it and make it anew. Just one person. As this saying goes about the two men walking on the beach, and a typhoon it came and 1 billion fish had beached. And as they walked along, one would pick up a fish from here and there and throw it back into the ocean. And his friends say, why are you doing that? What difference is that going to make? You know, you picking up a fish and throwing it back when all of these fish are beached out here. And he said, well, you know, it'll make all the difference in the world to the one that gets thrown back. It just so happened in this case here, I'm one of the ones that got thrown back. But where do you go to look for power? Well, it's been right here in front of you all the time, but we can't see what's right before our eyes. Even though a person have their mind made up about a particular thing, when another truth comes in that shows that that is not only not the real truth, that it's not the only truth. So it's like the man looking for the needle in a haystack. And at the end of the days, you come to find out the needle was right in his coat lapel all the time. All of this and all of that are part of the teachings of Eckankar, which is my only reason for being here on this earth today. And so I was standing on my front porch when I was having these thoughts to myself about, you know, I got this and I got that. I got all of the materialistic things that one would want to have to be what one would call successful. But I wasn't happy. I just was not happy. And a voice says to me, why aren't you happy? And I said, well, because I can't do what I want to do and be happy. She said, if you had me in your life, you could. And that's when I realized that I was talking to someone inside of my head. But by me studying and trying to develop the art of telepathy, it was no shock to me to experience that. So I said, what do you mean? She said, if you let me in, I'll show you. I said, now, you know, I was a pimp before I was a man. So you can't just tell me anything and I'm gonna go for it. You know, you got to prove it to me, whatever you're talking about. You can't tell me, like the religions do, tell a person something about something and they have no proof. They have no proof whether hell exists or heaven exists. They don't know nothing, but they'll tell you that they do, and they'll write books about it and get you all kinds of things to validate what they're saying is the truth. And it becomes solidified in the mind, and it's accepted as truth and manifests itself in this world here as a reality. But it's not the truth. So this voice that I'm talking to said, if you let me in, I'll show you. Me having the courage to do that one thing, I did. And as she came inside of me, I could feel her vibrating and my whole chest was vibrating. My body was vibrating. And when she came in, everything was calm. So I went to prove what she said to me. I went to prove the reality of it. And I don't want to tell you what all I did, but to put it mildly, I went and got the black and the white because it takes two to make a thing go right. And the realization of that made me realize that it took a God and a goddess. As long as I had a belief in a devil, I would never get anywhere beyond the level that I was at then. Because when God takes a step to the right, the devil is going to take one to the left. So it'll be a fight from now on, if that's what's in your belief system. if that's what you hold is true. But because you've been hypnotized and programmed, and it was done with fear, there ain't no way that you could give that up, no matter what. I don't have to wonder, will this truth that I'm divulging be accepted? The mind is not going to allow it to be accepted. And if you have the slightest thought of believing what I'm telling you, you'll get scared. And and that's just the way it is, because you have been hypnotized, and perhaps you will realize that you have been hypnotized and wake the fuck up. Now, you didn't expect that, did you? No. But the reason for that was simply a shock, because the religions have decided that what I just said was totally unacceptable. Everybody has decided everything that you know. Someone else decided it for you. What do you really know? What truth do you really know that you can stand on and say, this is absolute truth, because it came from within me. It didn't come from another place outside of me, from somebody else or something else. I discovered this truth on my own. How many can say that to themselves and keep it real? Because that's what I do. I keep it real. So I went and tested what the goddess had said to me. And as I speak to you here right now, she's lighting it up around my head. I'm talking about my goddess is popping. And I took a drop out of the ocean and personalized it and made it personal. That unconditional love that goes out to every soul. See, this ain't about the human shell or the body. This is about the soul. That unconditional love touches everything and everybody in this world. I took a drop from that ocean and personalized it. Now, it and I am still a part of that ocean, but I'm separated in the sense that I'm not in the ocean. I'm just a part of the ocean. So that my goddess, and she told me her name was Equinox. Now, I didn't reach up in the sky or read a book somewhere and say, "Oh, I like that name, Equinox. I'll say that." No, that's what she told me her name was. I won't share our initial experiences with you right now, but I'll get to them over time. And she told me that name, and I was lucid in the dream state at the time I was having it, which means that I was half asleep and I was half awake. And I was really, really not solidified in either state. So when she told me that, based upon the experience that we were having at the time, I jumped out of the bed and I had to go get a dictionary to find out what equinox meant. And that's what I did. And I come to find out that it was the balance in things. If she goes 12 steps to the left, then she'll walk 12 steps to the right. I have a clock over there on the wall that she controls. And that's what she does with the clock, to remind me and to show me that her love is always with me. Because it's not a natural thing to have a clock that switches from regular time to military time every day, all day. And you can't put a hold on it and say, oh, it runs 12 hours this way and 12 that way. No, she gives it variety. Sometimes she'll go 6 hours one with military and then go 6 with regular time. She does what she do, but whatever she does is in balance. This is what she gave me and placed in my life, was balance. Now, no matter how high I get or how high I may be, She balances me on that level. I can take a blast of black and white and reach the sky, and I'll be balanced. I've been doing this for over a year and a half, this test. But it's no longer a test now, it's a way of life. And I love my life today. I got what makes me happy. And that's all it was about for me, was being happy. After I chased the worldly things and acquired them, that happiness that I sought, I still didn't have. So it wasn't until I could have it all and be happy that I reached and found what I was looking for. And now that I have found it, baby, I'll never give you up. I wish they could see you behind me right now. But that's the way life is. They keep the physical eyes, they call them the profane eyes. They keep it from seeing these type of things. Because if you're not spiritually developed to see in that area, then you won't be and you can't be. This is what is meant by a fool in power. A fool with power is dangerous. One of the dangerous individuals you will ever want to meet is a fool with power. Because not only will they destroy themselves, they'll destroy everyone and everything around them too. This is why power is not given to the masses, because that ain't the way it's supposed to be. But to the one that get thrown back, this is what my message is about. The one that gets thrown back, the one out of a billion. I seek no followers, period, because followers would only enslave me and wouldn't give me the freedom to be myself. Then I'd have to be dancing to the beat of their drum and concerned with what they felt was right or wrong. And then naturally, they're going to bring the foolishness that's already in their heads to the table with them, and without it being purged from the inside of their heads. But I got one thing I'm going to tell you about, and that'll be it for this segment of that. And that is this. I believed in the mind power, and I felt like mind power was the will to do whatever it is that you wanted to do. And in this very piece of heaven that I sit in here and now, I would walk to this window here and I would look down. And when I would see the cement and how far it was down, this paralyzing feeling would come into my stomach and I'd have to get away from that window. I tried so many times to walk up there and convince myself that I was not going to feel that way, and every time I did, I decided to go to Las Vegas and ride what they call down there on the stratosphere, the big shot. I went up there and got in that thing, and what it did was made me just realize that I can't jump out of this here because I'm strapped in, that I just got to go with it. So ain't no need of being afraid. Just hold on to the realization that you're gonna get out from up here in a minute. And so all of that didn't help me with that fear of them heights and looking down on them. So a couple nights later, I was taken in the dream state to these high places with that paralyzing fear as a companion. And I would lay down on the whatever I was standing on, looking at it. You know, I'd lay down and be grabbing the floor and holding the floor just to keep from falling off. And then after a week or so of going through these type of experiences, I finally said, oh no, I can't take this here. So I got up and went and jumped off of it. And when I jumped off of that great height, I became enlightened. I woke up in the dream state and said, oh, I can fly. I ain't got to be scared of being up this high. I can fly. I ain't got to be afraid of that. And that's the way that last experience of that went. Now, when I came back into the body and going through my life experiences here, I was riding across the sound here on a ferry. And I remember how I used to get and would get that same way if I would walk up to the side of the ferry and look over into the water. I had to back up because that feeling was right there with me. But I realized as I was looking over into the water that feeling wasn't there. And I said, would you look at this? I could put my leg over the side of this boat and ride on it without that fear plaguing me like that. And I speak of this because this is what it took to show me that the spiritual power, that light and sound, or sound and light, that divine, what people call the Holy Spirit, and so forth and so on, that they put names on. But this is what has to purge from within the consciousness of the vain, egotistical beings, men mostly, that feel like they know the way and I'm showing it to you. I know God. We got a personal relationship. God comes to have breakfast with me at the table every morning and dinner with me at the table every night. So I know God. Listen to what I'm telling you at my church over here. And this is what they do. And then they use fear and pain to program you. And that's where the unenlightened become enslaved. So anyway, this is the way it happened for me. Now I'm not going to say that this is the way it would happen for anybody else, because ain't nobody else had a background such as mine. I have did basically everything in my life that was against the law of this world. Because innately and beneath all of it, I had this feeling and this knowing, I guess you would say, that it wasn't the truth. I knew it, but I couldn't tell you how I knew it. The only thing I was sure of was that when I found this truth that I sought, that I would know it based upon the experiences that I have had. Because I know I don't feel like nobody else in this world has had no greater love for God than me. And I know it's many, many, many souls out there that have this great love for God, but they're not doing the things that the preacher or the church or the book that they're so stuck to, that they feel like they have sinned or they're not living life according to God's will. God don't tell you what to do. He just say, unfold and come back home. But in order to get back, you're going to have to develop spiritually. All of that darkness, all of them lies and everything else are going to have to be purged from you before you give up that body and be free. So this is what the teachings of Eckankar is all about. It's about freedom. It's about love. It's about power. I'm not going to tell you that I'll put love over power. No way, no day. I tell you, power is at the top, the very top, the pinnacle of this mountain that one must climb to get there. And the greatest love of all that I have found is the great love of that power. And when it's used and not abused, it's your best friend. But if it's abused, it will abuse you. And that is the name of that tune. Now, I went longer than I intended to, because the emotional body that decided that it would come along don't have to cry. That's just what it does. That's just what it does. All emotions. And this is the very body that one must have control over, is that emotional body, because it will cry, get angry, It will wrap itself around an idea that it considers right and won't let go, no matter how much proof is given to the contrary. Ain't gonna let go. You don't have to cry alone, huh? Boy, the equinox, my goddess, she's laying it out tonight. Anyhow, that's all we have for you in this segment. But as I say, the name of this one is the Rainbow Coalition. See, I'm with the black, I'm with the blue, I'm with the red, I'm with the green, I'm with the soul. That's who I'm with. And it can be any color it want to be. I love it unconditionally, and I'll be with you always. May the blessings be.